Welcome back to another video, everyone. Today is the long-awaited mock showcase video of my latest mock, the ship interior. So let's go ahead and dive in and show you what this mock has to offer. Now, before we dive into the real meat and potatoes of this video, I just wanted to show you guys the original plan that I had for this mock. Because originally, this mock was going to be a much larger layout, and it was also going to be multiple different levels, but ultimately, due to the size of the mock table and the pieces that I have, this was ultimately scrapped in favour of a more better alternative, shall we say. And sure, I didn't like the idea at first, but now that it's grown on me, I do like it. So originally there was going to be a hangar bay. This area in particular has mostly stayed the same. I've sort of kept this, but changed it slightly. This has kind of merged into that, and we just, I don't know what to put there, so I just wrapped it. And yeah, this was going to be similar to that of a MBS and UCS style set, kind of like the 2006-2016 Death Star. And yeah, and I've also got some notes down here of ideas that I had for it. So yeah, let's dive in to the actual build. Now, this room was the first room that I fully built in this mock. Now, it contains what you'd expect from a hangar bay. It contains a ship, another ship, which was kind of a last minute addition. Alright, so I'm currently in the middle of editing this video, and I tried to add the U-wing into the hangar bay, but I wasn't particularly happy with the size of it and how it fitted into the room itself. So that is why I've gone for the first order troop transport instead, in case you're wondering why I haven't included the U-wing. So yeah, let's just get back to it. A few bits of cargo, and one thing that I wanted to try with this mock was adding ground vehicles into this mock. Now, the story here is that the rebels have boarded the ship and they plan to rescue some prisoners from the ship and take them back. And yeah, the Empire isn't too happy about this, so they've decided to repel the borders. That's kind of what they're doing. I feel bad for this guy down here though, because he really came to do his job. Got a rebel jetpack trooper coming in to offer some more support. This guy's been killed. And one thing I did add, this was very recent, were these tiles down here. Now, this one is from the 80DP set from the Rebels line of sets back in the day, so like 10 years ago now. Now, this room up here is the control room, so basically this guy is in charge of monitoring all ships that leave and enter the ship. Now, the Rebels have obviously ignored that, because of course they have. While this guy, you can't really see him, is in charge of the defences of the hangar bay. And this officer is not particularly happy that rebels are on the ship. Now, originally this area, as well as the corridors next to the hangar, were going to be the only sections of this build, but curiosity got the better of me and I decided to make a bridge section, which we'll get onto in a minute. So this was originally positioned at the front of the mock table, but then once I realised I ran out of room for this potential bridge section, I decided to basically put this mock on its side, so now it's facing towards the wall, but originally it was over here where these two things are. So yeah, let's continue now and have a look at some of the rooms. Now, as you make your way down this hallway, you may notice something a bit strange. There is a dead Death Trooper, and also another Death Trooper, but something isn't particularly right about this one, which kind of feeds into the actual story of this mock. Now, the story of this mock is that an Imperial cruiser was sent to an unknown part of the galaxy, and the sole reason as to why it was sent to this part of the galaxy was to collect resources and stuff that could be useful to the Empire, and to also take prisoners to a safe location. So in a way, it's kind of a prisoner transport and also a cargo transport or just a regular Imperial cruiser. Now, what they found on this planet, and most of the Imperials that are on board had no knowledge of this, being a virus which had an outbreak years and years and years ago, but they basically took the virus back to the ship and examined it, did some experiments on a few of the patients on board and people who needed medical treatment, and now the virus has basically taken over the ship, and the Imperials are kind of screwed. Now here are some of the custom figures that I've made. Some of them are more custom than others, but for like these ones here, this is the medical stuff. I've just added some hair pieces onto them. Very simple thing to do. This one you may recognise from my Imperial Dockyard mock. He is also one of the medical staff, but he got arrested for wreaking too many secrets. This is one of the specialist containment troopers. He has a flamethrower used to take down any zombies. This guy is the captain of the ship. This guy is just a thug that's been arrested. This guy is a rebel that has also been arrested. And this is a anatomy statue diagram thing. They have them in like hospitals and stuff like that. So I basically just added a stormtrooper head on top of that. This is one of the janitors who's made a lot of appearances in my mocks, and these are the two zombies. This one is probably my favourite one out of the two because it uses zombie Captain America's head from the CMF, as well as a few parts of my collection. This guy uses a slightly older torso. There's a bit of damage on the torso itself, but other than that, it's a decent enough zombie figure. Now, the room behind this area is the engine room / reactor room, and what's happening here is this trooper has been given orders to disable the engines because they don't want this virus spreading any further, and this Ugnaught who's in charge of the room is confused and also frustrated at him because why is he even doing that? This janitor has no idea what's going on. I don't think he's even aware that there's flames around him. And his astromech has also been ordered to shut down the machines. With this room, I was kind of going for like alien vibes with the terms of like how it's laid out, the like walls and stuff, because this part of the mock was a bit inspired by Alien Isolation. Not to mention, around the corner from here, there is a minikit which is hidden behind the hangar. Now these tanks have purposes. They're not just background elements. This is the main power, while this one is backup power. Both of these things can be controlled by this panel here. While this panel here has like a bunch of override switches and emergency shutdown features. Across the hall from here is a barracks where these troopers were in the middle of playing holo chess when one of the medical staff just told them that they need to defend themselves because there's an outbreak happening on the ship. Now, in order to prevent the zombies from coming in, they have decided to use crates, which might not be the most efficient method of protecting yourselves, but we'll just have to let it slide. This room is filled with all sorts of things. There's the grenade table, there's a boombox if they want to have a boogie, there's a crate with weapons inside of it, there's a rack as well, there's a cache, and there's a uniform, and also this monitor, as well as one of these panels. Directly next to the barracks is the prison area, which is just one cell. Now, these guys can't leave because the person who was manning the door is dead, and the controls are all the way over here, so I think the chances of these two getting out is very unlikely. Now, the source of the infection is in this medbay, because over here we have the main zombie who is like controlling all the other ones. This is one of the medical staff who was responsible for the first experiment, who is currently being attacked by one of his own experiments. This droid over here is panicking and I decided to press this red button over here, which basically alerts everyone on the ship that there's an outbreak. But not to worry, one of the containment troopers has arrived and has blown the head off of this zombie, so maybe when this zombie is killed, this guy will end up being alright. And we still don't know whether or not this guy is going to become a zombie, so we best be careful. I've also put some panels in this room, as well as some crates with some medical supplies, as well as some Bacta and a plant on top of this particular container. Now outside of the med bay, it is absolute chaos. This rebel is being attacked by one of the zombies, and one of the medical staff has found one of his former colleagues on the floor. I can imagine how he feels. This skunk droid is somehow not affected, but this rebel, however, is. Now, as we move forward towards the bridge, you may notice that this particular section of the MOC is where most of the action is happening, because over here we have a pilot who is about to get bitten, and the captain is ultimately deciding whether or not he should kill them or kill the zombie. This trooper is dead on the floor because this guy has just eaten him, and fortunately this guy is burning him, while over here a majority of the zombies are heading towards the bridge because they're going to try and take over the ship because this guy wants them to. And these troopers are putting up a good fight even though it's just the one guy, and he's basically framing them all and yeah, doing the best he can to protect the crew on the ship and his fellow troopers. Over here we have a security droid who has gotten hold of one of the prisoners and isn't allowing him to escape. This officer is shooting this guy who's infected, and yeah, there's pretty much a lot of action going on here. And this was kind of a last minute inclusion because I was thinking, how do I capture what I'm trying to say and think about in this MOC? And I was like, let's have the zombies try and take over the ship, because that would make for an interesting point in the story. So yeah, this is a bit of a crowded section of the MOC, but I do like it. Now this is the most recent section of the MOC, being the bridge. This is the part that I've had the most fun with, because I've tried to experiment with different layouts of this room and stuff like that. So towards the front we have obviously the controls of the ship. This guy is in charge of steering and flying the ship, while this guy is in charge of firing and defending the ship. These two are in charge of communications and other stuff on the ship, while over here this guy is in charge of monitoring the condition of the ship and is currently being told off because a lot of stuff is happening on the ship at once. This guy is also in charge of the same thing. Due to the unexpected outbreak, this cache of resources has been moved to this part of the ship to get away from the infection. Because on here we've got a few artifacts, a few storage boxes, as well as a holocron. And this guy is doing the best he can to protect it. While one of the rebel leaders has also been moved to this part of the ship because the Imperials believe that if he becomes infected, then he'll become useless, but if he isn't infected, then they can just keep getting information out of him. Like base locations, what they plan to do next, and stuff like that. Now in this part of the bridge, this is where the command table is, where they can strategize future battles as well as current battles. The captain has no idea what to do, so he's just getting some advice from this guy here, and they're also receiving a transmission from another Imperial, whether or not they should go forward with their plans or not, due to the current situation. Another reason why they don't want the zombies to take over the bridge is because they have the Death Star plans on board. Now in certain parts of this room you may have noticed these things. I don't know what they're called. The only thing I do know is that they're from one of the throne room sets, and they also appear in a few of the Battlefront 2015 maps, and I've added those on either side. And here we also have the door controls and a panel. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say in regards to this mock. I don't know what mock I should make next or whether or not I should keep it like this. So let me know your thoughts in the comments and let me know if you guys enjoyed this mock. And yeah, this has been a fun and interesting mock to make, and it's definitely tested me not only with my ideas but also the parts that I have in my collection, which says a lot. So yeah, this ship isn't particularly inspired by any ship. I've kind of just crammed together parts of Imperial ships that I like, and as well as including some features that you don't often see on Imperial ships. So yeah, I appreciate you all for watching. Be sure to check out all of the other content that is already up on the channel, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye bye!